Hello and hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to Last Week in Germany, where I, some nobody, living in Indiana, read the top stories and posts from last week dealing with Germany, the German subreddits, just to make sure I know what's going on over there. Let's do it. And the top post this week in r/Germany is a positive one. I feel like the world has been extremely negative lately. So even just this feels like a win, a positive post. I got to see Germany for the first time this past October. Congratulations. That's pretty cool. Let's see. That's a beautiful castle. I don't know what castle that is, but it's beautiful. Wow. See, when I visit Germany, I want to go to a place like this with historic architecture, castles, and some good food. Definitely got to get some good food. I don't even know what that is. It looks like fancy mac and cheese. That's potato, right? Because you guys do like potatoes and cheese. It looks really good. Oh, well, apparently it's Kaspatzel. Hot spatzel and grated cheese, layered and topped with fried onions. There you go. I know you guys love the fried onions. I've seen that in all the memes. You guys love just sticking your hand in a bag of oily fried onions and then eating it, I assume. I don't think you just like sticking your hand in it. Then you usually actually get someone to eat them. Accompanying side dishes, salads or potato salad. Oh. And spätzle is a type of Central European egg pasta. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I want to try that. So it actually kind of is like German mac and cheese. Today I came across mandatory tipping for the first time in Starbucks. What? Mandatory tipping? And in Germany? All these days I thought I was free from the ridiculous concept of tipping in the US. I'd gone to Starbucks, and for takeaway, not even sit in, there was a pay unit screen for 3, 5, or 15% tip. No way out of it? No choice for zero? Are you serious? No choice for zero. See, that's an outrage. I'm just going to be honest. Here in America, our tipping is ridiculous. I mean, they tried to tip us for a cover on a bar. Not tip us tip them. We were going into a bar, and sometimes you have to pay if they have like a live band or if the bar is really popular. You have to pay $5, $10 just to get into the bar. And they showed us a screen like, okay, do you want a tip on top of that? What? Do you want a slap to the face? No. Anyway, but there's a way to click zero. Is my point. There's always a way to click zero. And maybe, I'm a little bit skeptical. I'm thinking maybe you just didn't know where to click. Sometimes they hide it. But surely there's a way to tip zero. They'll hide it under like custom tip, and stuff like that. Anyway, flat out refuse. Yeah, I mean, I agree. If they don't manage to come up with a way around it, leave. Yeah, I mean, I agree. You have not agreed to a mandatory tip. You are not obligated to pay your drink like this. So bye-bye. Absolutely. I guess it is illegal to force customers for a tip in Germany. I've never heard of anyone forcing people to tip. Although here in America, if you have more than 6 people in your party, the gratuity, which is the tip, will be included on your bill at a restaurant. So it really is a forced tip at that point. And that's because they're using a lot of resources. That's the justification for it, is that they're using a lot of resources. You come on with a party of 8 people, and if you leave 0 tip, that really screws over the waiters and stuff. Whatever. That's their justification. So they automatically add a 20% tip, which they call standard, if you come in with like more than 6 people. So I guess there is some mandatory tipping in America, but I've only ever heard of it in that scenario. Anyway, You are legally obligated to inform the customer about the final price. Wow, fancy that. Forcing a tip would be like adding a hidden surcharge. Yeah, it is exactly that. It's exactly what it is. Russia could be behind migrant terror attacks? What? German investigators fear? I'm sorry, what does that mean, fear? Did they investigate that and then come to that conclusion or that possibility? Or is that just something they fear? Okay, this is a serious allegation. Like, I need to know more. The goal, security sources say, is to increase support for far-right pro-Kremlin AfD. That would make sense. That would make sense. Wow, that's unbelievable. Germany is investigating suspicions that Russia was behind a string of recent terrorist attacks committed by asylum seekers. But how would Russia be behind it? I guess anything's possible. German intelligence officials are exploring the theory that Russia sought to recruit mentally ill or extremist asylum seekers to commit the attacks. Man, if that's true, I am speechless. That needs to be investigated. I don't like just speculating about something that serious because that makes sense. That would just be the ultimate low and obviously a crime against humanity. And is that not an act of war by Russia if that's the case? If that's the case. I mean, that's essentially Russia committing a terrorist attack, sponsored by the Russian government. This is all depending on if it's true. We need to know, is it true or not? What I'm failing to read is like, okay, if in this theory they're sponsored by Russia, what is Russia? How do you tell someone, hey, go kill yourself and other people? I get they're saying they're mentally ill, but still, where do you find these mentally ill people that are willing to die for Russia? Like, okay, people do that. People are willing to die for their religion. That's been shown and proven. But why would you do that for a foreign government? Maybe they like... They could send money to their relatives. You know, it could be like, hey, we're gonna take care of your family if you do this attack. But this is all just such speculation. I don't even really like speculating about it because it's like, okay, we just need to know if this is true or not. The source stressed that the Russia angle was just a theory at this stage, adding, it's interesting, there might have been a little outside help, but there is no proof. What is this? German officials have previously said that the Russian practice of recruiting criminals or other outcasts within Germany is so widespread that they have compared it to a gig economy for sabotage and terror. Holy shit. Okay, going back to this, there is no proof, and it's nothing more than a theory, meaning like a hypothesis with no proof. Okay. To be honest, at that point, I don't like that this article is even published. Like, why are you publishing this if there's no proof? I'm just sick of living in a world that's based off of, like, fear and I mean, I don't know if I call it fake news. That term is like, you know, political now, but this almost actually is fake news. Like, there's no proof, and yet you're publishing it as a headline as if it very well may be true. I don't like that. I just don't like that. If it's true, publish it. If there's some evidence, publish it. That's fascinating and horrifying. Le Pen is now banned from running. Isn't that France? This isn't last week in France. Interesting, though. Okay. Secret Pentagon strategy paper. U.S. military would leave Europe alone in the face of Russian advance. What? What do you mean secret Pentagon paper? What? A secret strategy paper from the U.S. DoD sets new priorities for the military. It states that Taiwan is more important than Europe. Taiwan is more important than Europe. Okay. I mean, Taiwan's important, don't get me wrong. But Europe is Europe. In the event of a Russian advance, the Allies could not rely on the U.S. In an internal document, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, the drunk guy that leaked the group chat accidentally to a reporter of, attack plans, he instructed the department to intervene only very limitedly in Europe. What does that even mean? Who's he? He's not even the commander-in-chief. I mean, I get that he's the Secretary of Defense, but, like, whatever, man. The Washington Post reports this, citing the document Interim Guidance for the National Defense Strategy. The document states that it is unlikely that the U.S. would provide significant military support in Europe if Russia were to advance. Sorry, had to do that. It sets priorities for senior Pentagon officials. It's unclear whether U.S. President Donald Trump, as Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, would also decide according to this guideline in an emergency. Yeah, I mean, last I checked, we're still in NATO, so I don't know if Pete Hegseth knows that. Ministry must release SMS messages between Lindner and Porsche. What? The Berlin Administrative Court ruled that the text messages between the former finance minister Lindner and the Porsche CEO must be released following allegations of possible influence exerted by sports car manufacturer Porsche on former German finance minister Christian Lindner. The ministry must release the text messages. Lindner and Bloom allegedly discuss a ban on combustion engines in July 2022. Porsche had played a very large role in ensuring that the continued use of synthetically produced e-fuels for combustion engines was included in the coalition agreement. Release the text. I say release the text. Hell yeah. What a week it was. I hope you guys had a great weekend, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching.